to the Hudson Valley Knits podcast. I am Amy. I am Memers on Ravelry and Memers66 on Instagram. Today I am podcasting outside on my back deck. You might hear my neighbor's dog. He's still not used to me. I'm trying to make friends with him, but he still barks at me. And he's been barking at me the whole time I've been setting up out here. Oh, move this a little bit. Yeah, so this is my deck off of my bedroom. We have an upper deck and a lower deck, so I'm kind of at a second level. Yeah, I love it out here. I can't wait till it warms up a little bit more and we can sit out here and sip wine at night and coffee in the morning and that kind of stuff. It's kind of a cozy space. I am going to he's just oh, there he goes. I don't even know his name. I have to find out his name. Anyway, this is episode 107 and it is St. Patrick's Day, so happy St. Patrick's Day if you celebrate this fun day. My husband is half Irish, so we did get a really special treat in the mail. Maybe I'll put a clip of it in here. I have to say, just so you know, if there's any issues, I apologize, but my computer is not working at all. Something is incredibly wrong with it. I'm guessing it's some kind of malware or virus because it does not really work at all anymore. It freezes up and I get that pinwheel spinning and spinning and spinning. We tried this Mac software called ClamX to clean up, and it did get rid of a lot of stuff. I actually deleted my normal account and opened up a new one, and just, downloaded my iCloud settings. We're still getting it. It's not just when I'm on the internet, it's even like loading up the computer is taking an incredibly long time. So I am recording on my phone, I will edit on my phone, and I will have to upload off my phone, and I don't know how this is going to turn out. I've never done it like that before, especially for a long video, so I might rush through it. So that being said, let me talk about my finished objects. So as you can see, I finished my Rachel's Yoke pullover or jumper, if you will. I knit this out of Finogarn P2 and what's the other one it was called, but it was a mixture of the old brands. It was not the new one. And I love how it came out. Let me stand up. I'm going to push the camera back just a little bit. You see? So this is probably the best fitting sweater I've ever knit. I totally reshaped it. I did put a little waist shaping in, but I did make it a lot longer. Again, let me step back just a little bit. Tilt you. So you can see it goes to well below my hips, probably like the bottom of my bum. I put a little waist shaping in with a bit of ease, and then I kind of took the ease out as I got up towards the top, towards the bust. And then the stranded section, I did get a little bit of a tighter gauge, but it turned out okay. And then up here, to make it a little snugger around the neck, I just went down a needle size. I did a lot of swatching because when I did when I did my gauge swatch, I knit just a little square, and really my intention was just to get an idea of where to start. And I have to say, it was a good thing. Then what I did is, based on that swatch, I started knitting the sleeve. And then when I got about this far up the sleeve, I measured again. I blocked and measured. And I'll tell you, my gauge was completely different. So I had to totally do the sleeve. I basically ripped it down to the cuff, the ribbing, and re-knit it with a bigger needle. And then I blocked that again and measured it. It was still off. It was 25.5 versus 26 that the pattern called for, which meant that my would be a little looser. So I just recalculated the number of stitches for the body so that it would be the measurements I wanted based on that. And the row count, I did my decreases based on where my waist was. And all I did was make sure that when I got to the armpits, or where the color works, well, the armpits, because there's about 1 inch of plain knitting once you after you hit the bust. But I made sure that my stitch count was one that would work with the stranded, which is multiples of 10. And it worked out fine. I just, you know, had to kind of just do a little math. It wasn't a big deal, and I'm like totally thrilled the way it came out. This is going to be my Rhinebeck sweater. I'll definitely be wearing this to Rhinebeck this year. But I don't know if I'm going to cast on another sweater right away. I really worked on this fiercely. I didn't work on much else until it was done. I just wanted to get a chance to wear it before spring, and it does warm up earlier here in St. Louis than it did in New York, where I'm from. It's actually a little nippy today. I'm kind of cold out here. I would guess it's in the 40s, maybe 50 degrees, but from what people tell me, it's just going to start warming up soon. So that being said, I did wear it to work one day. It was 60 degrees that day. I was so uncomfortably warm. But I had to wear my new sweater, right? Sorry. So this is my one finished object, and again, I would say this is my favorite and best fitting sweater of all the sweaters I've knit, by far. I really, really love it. And by the way, I did the collar ribbing in red instead of the main color. It just felt right. I felt like I needed to end. I started in the red and then I wanted to end in the red. And I did do a little bit of short row shaping in the back to make the back a little higher. I think just like 3 rows of short row shaping. So next finished object are the Red Robin socks. I finished these a while ago, but you know, I didn't wear them because I wanted to show them to you first. Here they are. I love how they came out. I love the colors. I love the pattern. And these are coincidentally the best fitting socks I've ever knit. Well, I have a couple of others that are really fit exceptionally well. But these just were perfect, and I'm really thrilled with that because depending on the yarn, some socks end up too loose, usually I end up with socks that are too loose more often than not, but these are absolutely perfect. So these will get a lot of wear. And speaking of socks, I have a whole bunch I need to wash soon. I've been putting that off, and I'll probably do that this afternoon. So here are the Red Robin socks by Highland Handmaids. Yeah, Highland Handmaids. Curious Handmaids. Highland Handmaids is the yarn company. Helen Stewart, aka Helen Stewart. And these were from her Sock Society, her club from last year, not this year. All right. And that's it for FOs. Oh, I hope I grabbed more socks. I don't have a lot of whips on the needles. But I am like going through my stage where I'm trying to figure out what I want to start working on next. But I do have two whips primarily that I'm working on, and one is A Girl's Best Friend Shawl by Isabel Kramer. Here it is so far. It is with wool fingering yarn, and the three colorways. That's a good question. What are the three colorways? This is an organically superwash wool, and let's see okay, sheep laurel. They are Springhouse, Trillium, and Sheep Laurel. The Springhouse is the blue. The Trillium is the yellow, I think. I'm not sure, but I know the Sheep Laurel is the purple. And I really think, I like how it's coming out, but these aren't colors I normally wear. So I think I might give this to my sister Lisa for Christmas. And then finish that Rose Gold one by Andrea Mowry for my other sister Kim for Christmas. That's what I'm thinking. But we'll see about that, because I know my sisters will love it, whatever I make them. And the other whip is a pair of socks that I cast on from Mark. Mark was whining that I'm knitting all these sweaters for myself and nothing for him. And I said that I told him that I needed a break from sweater knitting, and that I would knit him a pair of socks for now. But I did buy a sweater's quantity of Knit Picks Simply Wool in the bulky weight, and I'll definitely be knitting him an Aran sweater with that, but maybe not until later in the summer. I might start it swatching and stuff, but I'll talk about that in future knitting. But here's the socks I started for Mark. It's not a pattern, it is a stitch pattern actually I stole from the Project Peace Cowl. It's the same stitch pattern she used there. She called it Broken Rib, and I chose it because it's nice and stretchy, and Mark's got, thick ankles and big feet and all that stuff. So this is with Socks That Rock medium weight, which is what I tend to use for him more often than not lately, because he's tough on his socks, and these don't seem to wear out as fast as other sock yarns, so that's why I'm using this. And those are my two whips. Now I do have some future knitting that I am one thing that I will be casting on soon, and then just other things that are kind of rolling through my head. I did say I wanted to take a break from sweater knitting for a while. I would like to knit some mittens or some fingerless mitts, basically in color work, and I have a couple of patterns in my queue that I've been dying to cast on for a long time, and let me see here if I can show you them on my iPad. Yeah, this is what I'd like to cast on, the Underwing Mitts by Erica Huser. I'm sure you've seen these. Oh shoot. Full screen. Alright, sorry about the reflection, but you can basically see. You can see my camera is what you can see. But yeah, I'd like to knit those for myself, maybe even my sisters. I would also like to knit, my mother asked for a pair of socks, and my mom doesn't ask for much. So she's definitely getting them in. She asked for socks that go up higher up her calves, because she says her legs get cold. And she asked for some that are a little stretchy. So I think that this sock pattern I'm using for Mark's socks would be perfect also for a pair for my mom. So I'm gonna cast on her socks. I probably will cast them on before I finish Mark's, because Mom's coming to visit in mid-April, and it would be really great if I could finish them by the time she comes here. So I'll probably put Mark's on hold and cast on a pair for Mom using the same stitches, and yeah. The only thing with that is I have to, if she wants them high up the calf, I might have to use more than one skein of yarn, because like me, she has long feet. I think she wears a size 9.5, women's 9.5, US 9.5, which is pretty big. So I will end up using almost the whole sock yarn, a whole skein of yarn. So that might require a really long cuff in a separate color, but I'm sure I'll figure something out. And I'm thinking I'll pick a skein of my Sunna, and then I have lots of leftover Sunna. That's by Spiritual Fiber Works. It's a superwash merino, silk, and cashmere blend. So my mom will be able to wash them, but they will be long wearing for her, because the silk is just super strong, and nice and soft on her feet. And so my mom's like one of the most knit-worthy people ever. So yeah, definitely will be knitting that for her. My mother-in-law also has requested a pair of mittens. She says her hands are always cold, and she would love a pair of mittens, so I am going to do that for her as well. And I have some plans. They're still tentative. I brought them up to my manager, but I'd like to go back to New York in June to get some hiking in, and I'd like to mix it with, I'd like to go home for 2 weeks, so that I can get 2 full weekends. I'd like, this way I can get to visit my mom upstate, spend some time with my mother-in-law, get some hiking in. And what I would do is not take the whole time off, but I could go and work in our Stamford, Connecticut office, and then take like just maybe 4 days off, like a Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and then have the weekend as well, just to get that. June is a great hiking month in New York, and the mountain laurel blooms. Hopefully I can catch that, and I'd like to see Sandy. Sandy is still going through chemotherapy. She hasn't had her surgery yet, and it's really hard for me not being there for her. So I really, really want to see my friend. I miss her so terribly. I miss my mother-in-law. I'll see my parents in April, but I will definitely see them again. But so hopefully in June I'll get back home, and then when I come back, my mother-in-law will probably fly back with me and stay with us for a month or so for a nice long visit, which will be, it would just be really, really wonderful to have her. I miss her terrible. She's just a delight to be around, and when she was living with us during that time when her leg broke, I don't know if you remember that, she had to live with us for about 3 months. It was just, you know, obviously the circumstances sucked, but it was so wonderful having her around. We really, really just were very sad when she moved back to her house. Yeah, so I'll definitely be doing those things. And the other thing I think I'm like almost 100% sure I'm gonna do is Romy Hill is doing a mystery knit-along. She does a mystery shawl knit-along every year. I did it once before. I'm not a big fan of mystery cows because I like to I like to see the finished object before I start knitting it, because then I'll know if I really like it. But Rosemary, I think it's a safe bet that I'll like something that Rosemary Hill designs. And that first clue comes on March 22nd, and it's a new clue every week. She uses 2 skeins, one's a solid and one's a speckled. So I went through my stash, and of course the more I went through my stash, the more I couldn't decide what to use. But here are some of the 2 skeins that I'm considering. I think I'm leaning towards this one. Oh, no, not this one. This one, yes. I am leaning heavily towards using this skein of Pixie Dust by Miss Babs. It's Yummy 2-ply. I really, really love this shade of, it's almost like a purpley pink. It's very orchidy colored. Pink is my favorite color. I think I would be very happy knitting this. And then there are 3 skeins that I have that I thought would make the an excellent second color. So she uses a speckled, a very light speckled. So I hope it's not something that's got a lot of lace in it. But if it does, this skein from On the Round, it's a single ply, which I don't think will be a problem. It's called Plush. Is that the colorway? Yeah, it's single ply superwash merino, and it's called Plush, and it's a beautiful shade of pink, and I think it would go well. What do you think? So this is one combination. This is for a more subdued look. And then I thought, well, maybe something a little bolder. So this is actually a skein, Yummy 2-ply from Miss Babs as well, that I actually bought with the intention of pairing these 2 together. If you see, it does have browns and golds in it, but it also has pink in it, which I think would go great with this. So this is my second possible color combination. And then there's this. This is, if I want exposure, I'll get my tits out, gussets, and grease nipples. By River Knits. It's a BFL 4-ply, and I think this would be really beautiful combination as well. It has, I love gold and pink. It has purples and lavenders, but I think these would go great. But again, it's not a light speckly, it's definitely variegated, so I don't know if it's a lace section that this is going to be knit with. It's a game changer, because I don't like lace patterns except in except with a solid or semi-solid yarn. So I'm not sure about that. And so those are 3 options that I was considering to go with this. And I'm definitely leaning towards this with one of those things. The other one that I thought would go beautifully is some Spiritual Fiberworks. These are one of her special colors she dyed. When her followers, they can send in color inspirations. And this is definitely, it's called River Walk, and it's based on river glass that I collected. It's basically inspired by a picture I sent of my river glass collection. And yeah, this is the subdued speckled, and even if it were a little lacy, this would be beautiful. And then either one of these, for a bright look, I could use this one, which is was dyed to be a complementary color for this. It's called Bottle Glass. So this would give me a very bright spring look. Or I could use this, which is Beach Treasure, which is a little more the color I like, and do this color combination. What do you guys think? Because I don't know. I can't make up my mind. I need some help. So anyway, I have a week to decide, and yeah, we'll just see how that goes. Sorry, stuff falling. I really don't know. Usually when I get into a rut like this with color, I ask my husband because he's got great color sense, so that's what I'll probably end up doing. Anyway, so those are things that will be on the needle soon, probably before the next time I podcast. I'll have gotten all those things started and maybe even finished a girl's best friend shawl, but maybe not, because I have to say that this section I'm on now, I'll show it to you again. This section here, it's not a bobble stitch, I think she calls it teardrop, but you increase to 5 and then go back down to 1, and it's just slow going because you increase to have a lot of stitches on the needle, and then you have to like decrease them. So this section is taking quite a while. After I finish this section though, it should move along fairly quickly. It will all be pretty much potato chippy knitting. So we'll see about that. And like I said, I am working on Mark's socks, but I'll probably put these on the back burner and start Mom's. And the other thing I want to do is just show you some books I got. I don't usually show stash enhancement. You can very easily see any stash enhancements. I always put it in my Ravelry stash, so you could definitely check it out there. But I did buy some books recently, and I wanted to show them to you because I'm kind of excited about them. One was kind of an impulse buy, but as you know, you may have heard that Interweave Knits is going bankrupt, or the company that owns it is very sadly going bankrupt. And from what I've heard too, a lot of designers have not been getting paid for their work recently. I don't know how many or how far back that goes and whatnot, but to me that's very, very sad. But this is a book that I've gone back and forth on buying even before this news came out, and I had decided not to. I always kind of look through the patterns and say, would I knit that? And if I would feel I would knit enough of them to make the cost worth it, I do it. But knowing that they're out of business now and that this will never be reprinted, I decided that it was definitely well worth the purchase on Amazon. I think I got it for $24 and change, and there's 100 patterns. It's like 25 cents a pattern, guys. I love how the book opens up, and it does lie flat, so you're not going to be like if you want to photocopy pages, it would not be a problem. There are tons of sweaters and accessories in this book that I would just love to knit for myself. Yeah, I definitely going to go through this a couple more times and pick out some patterns to knit with this. So that's one purchase. Another purchase I made was as a result of the Fruity Knitting podcast. They had Martin Story on as a guest, and I got a Patreon discount because I do give them a monthly payment to help support their podcast. And with the discount, I got 2 of Martin's books. I got this Easy Fair Isle Knits because very specifically, I really absolutely want to make this blanket, and it also has the pillow pattern, but also as a where is it? Hold on, trying to find the pictures. Actually, the pictures are in the front, actually. Sorry. Here, okay. Here's the cushion. And they also have like a garland you can make, which are all great decorative ideas that I would love to have for my home. And I have boatloads of 2-ply Shetland wool, Jamieson and Smith, some palette, tons, and this is perfect for that. And there's a lot of little projects in here that my odds and ends stash of 2-ply Shetland wool, or just wool, like as in the palette, would go a long way for this. So I'm like super excited about this. And I also got, although after getting it and looking through it again and again, I probably shouldn't have bought this because I don't think I'll knit. I was originally thinking I would knit this book on the cover. I mean this sweater on the cover, but after looking at it in detail, I decided no, I probably wouldn't. But there are some cute hats and cowls in here that I could see myself, and then there was also this kind of cardigan here that I like, that I could definitely see myself, oops, sorry, I'm just trying to cover up some of the pattern, that I could definitely see myself loving. But you know, I love cabled sweaters, but I don't really like cable knitting. It hurts my hands. I enjoy it, but it hurts my hands, so we'll see how that goes. And I think that's all I had to, oh no, one more thing. I had a skein that I was giving away. Here it is, and I drew a number, and the second, for the comments, just a second, the winner did not leave the Ravelry name, but her name is Anita Sama, S-A-M-A, Anita. I replied to your comment, or if you hear it here, please PM me on Ravelry with your address, and I will get this skein out to you in the mail. I also want to say, with a big apology, that the last episode I gave away another skein, and the winner was Linda, who is Quiet Corner Knits, and I totally forgot to PM you on Ravelry. I am so sorry. I sent it today. Hopefully you've got it in reply by now. And I have a skein to send out to you too. So if you ladies could please get in touch with me. I don't have a new one this week. I'm pretty sure I'm close to the end of donated prizes, but I'm not 100% sure. I still have a lot of things to go through to see for sure if I do. I also wanted to say that I do have a lot of stash for sale. I am going to organize that and probably do a separate de-stash video to try and sell off all this stuff that I know I'll never knit with and get rid of it and declutter. So stay tuned for that. That's definitely coming. And okay, half hour's great. So hopefully I can get this up on YouTube, and I don't know how I would compress the video to do this, so hopefully it works out well and y'all get to watch this episode. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you soon. Let me just take an opportunity to kind of give you a little look-see of my neighborhood. Let's see here. I'm gonna flip it, I think. I guess I can't flip it. Anyway, you can see I will do it like this, and hopefully here's my neighbor's house with the dog. Here's my backyard. I can't see, but yeah, so there's like the back alley where everybody's garage goes, and it's like an alleyway where we have our garbage bins and the telephone wires, which is nice because it keeps the street beautiful. And here's my setup. I think you can see it. I'm trying to See. And yeah, there's the door that goes into my bedroom. So I don't know, I might edit that out. I don't know how good that came out, but yeah, goodbye from St. Louis. I'll see you in a few weeks.